Hi all, welcome to another video lesson on business research method. In this video, I am going to present the topic probability sampling under methods of sampling or types of sampling. So what is the methods of sampling? Sampling method refers to the way of selecting sample from the population. So it is the way used to select sample from the population. Sampling method refers to the way that the items or observations are selected from a population as sample for a sample survey. So it is the way used for selecting a sample from the population. Then selecting an appropriate sampling method suitable for the study is an important element of every research. So selecting an appropriate sample is the most important task in every research. A best sampling method is the method that ensures representativeness and meets the goals of the study. So the sampling method must be suitable for the goals of the study and it should ensure the representativeness of the population. Sampling methods may be classified into two basic categories. First one is probability sampling or random sampling and the other one is non-probability sampling or non-random sampling. Probability sampling may be further classified into unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Under unrestricted sampling, there will be lottery method and a random number table. And under restricted sampling, there are sampling methods such as stratified sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage cluster sampling, systematic sampling, and random route sampling. Then non-probability sampling or non-random sampling consists of various methods such as accidental sampling, quota sampling, purposive or judgment sampling, convenience sampling, snowball sampling and self-selection. In this video, I am discussing the topic probability sampling or random sampling. So, what is probability sampling or random sampling? It is a sampling method based on theory of probability. So, random sampling is based on the theory of probability. In random sampling, observations or items are selected at random. Then what is random selection? Each member or unit of the population has an equal chance of being selected. So, in random sampling, it ensures that each and every items of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Probability sampling allows researchers to create a sample that is accurately representative of the real population. That means, if the sample are selected at random, it ensures that the sample is accurately representative of the real population. What are the features of probability sampling? In probability sampling, every items of population has an equal chance of being selected. It means that each individual is chosen randomly and entirely by chance such that each individual has the same probability of being chosen. Now the next feature is probability sampling yields an accurately representative sample. That means if samples are taken at random, it will be more accurate and representative. Now the next feature is the findings of the sample survey are generalizable to the population. If samples are selected at random, the findings of sample survey can be applied to other situations. Now next is through randomization, the danger of unknown sampling bias can be minimized. So sampling bias can be minimized through randomization. Now next is a truly random sampling is possible only when the population is known and finite. But there are some sampling method that can be adopted even if the population is unknown and infinite. So, once again, probability sampling technique is one in which every unit in the population has a chance of being selected in the sample. Now, next is types of probability sampling or types of random sampling. As I told earlier, probability sampling may be classified into two categories, unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Let me start from unrestricted sampling or simple random sampling. Unrestricted sampling occurs when elements are selected individually and directly from the population. Here the population is not divided into groups. The population is taken as a whole and the elements are selected individually and directly from the population. Samples are selected directly from the population without categorization or grouping. This sampling techniques gives each elements an equal and independent chance of being selected. So the unrestricted sampling may be in the form of lottery method and a random number table method. Once again, a lottery method and a random number table methods are the two types of unrestricted sampling. Now we can discuss the features of simple random sampling. In this method, each sample has an equal probability of selection. This is the first feature. Now next one is, this method requires a list of all sampling units. In this method, every sample or every individual is selected randomly. Simple or unrestricted samples are usually obtained by using two methods. They are lottery method and a random number method. So now we can discuss what is lottery method and what is random number method. Now take lottery method. Under this method, each items of the universe are written on identical paper slips and then folded and mixed together. So all items of the universe or the list of the population is prepared and each items of the universe are written on identical paper slips and then folded and mixed together. Out of the slips, a required number of samples are picked up with folded eyes. So from these mixed and folded slips, required number of samples are picked up. In other words, in lottery method, each member of population assigned a number. Each number placed in a card of similar size, shape and color. Cards put in a bowl and thoroughly mixed. Blindfolded person select a card. So this process will be repeated till we reach the desired sample size. So this is the procedure of lottery method. Now next one is random number table method. Under this method, samples are selected by using a standard random number table. So in this method, a standard random number table is used to draw samples. A random number table is a series of digits arranged randomly in rows and columns. Number of random number tables are prepared and published by statisticians. So some of the examples of random number table are Tippett's random number table, Fisher and Yates table, Kendall and Babington Smith table. Microsoft Excel has a function to produce random numbers. Rand and rand between function can be used for this purpose. Now let us see an example of taking sample by using a random number table. This is an example of random number table. How to select 10 students as a sample from a list of 800 students. This is the question. A list of 800 students is available. We want to select 10 students from it. Then how to select these 10 students by using a random number table? This is the part of a standard random number table. So to start, the first number or any one row or column may be selected at random. If we select the second row, we have to consider all 3 digits number under 800 or number in between 800 and 0. I repeat, we have to select a 3-digit number in between 800 and 0. So consider the second row. So the first 3-digit number in second row is 902. But this is not under 800. So we can omit 902. Then the next number is 222. We can take this number 222 because this is less than or in between 800 and 0. We can take 222. Then next 3-digit number is 799. Then 304. Then next one is 952. But it is not under 800. So we can exclude it. Then next number is 667. Then next is 625. Then 034. Then 971. 971 is not under 800, so we can exclude it. Then 146. Then 976. Here 976 may be excluded because it is above the 800. Then 688, then 652, and the last number is 385. So I have selected 10 numbers. The number is 222 799 304 667 625 034 146 688 652 385. This is the way of selecting sample from a random number table. Now we can discuss advantages of simple random sampling. All items in the population have an equal chance of being selected. This is the first advantage. Now next one is, among all the probability sampling techniques, simple random sampling is the easiest to apply. The amount of sampling error associated with any sample drawn can easily be computed. So these are all about the advantages of simple random sampling. Then disadvantages of simple random sampling are, the complete list of population is required to select a sample under simple random sampling. Then the next disadvantage is, it does not ensure proportionate representation to various groups constituting the population. If the population consists of heterogeneous groups, it may not ensure proportionate representation. Now next one is, large sample is required to ensure representativeness of all heterogeneous groups. In this case, that means from the population is heterogeneous, large sample is required to ensure representativeness from all heterogeneous groups. Then it may be expensive in time and money. So these are all about disadvantages of simple random sampling. Then next category of random sampling is restricted or complex random sampling method. So restricted sampling occurs when elements are chosen using a specific methodology. Population may be grouped to draw sample, or the samples are taken by using a particular procedure. In other words, unrestricted sampling is a time-consuming process and it involves cost and money. It cannot be adopted when the sample size is large. So to increase the efficiency of sampling technique, restricted random sampling method is used. So instead of unrestricted random sampling method, restricted random sampling method is used to increase the efficiency. Now restricted sampling techniques includes stratified sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage cluster sampling, systematic sampling and random route sampling. Let me start from stratified random sampling. If the field of inquiry is not homogeneous, that means if the field of inquiry is heterogeneous, this method can be used. This is an improved type of simple random sampling. In this method, the population is subdivided into homogeneous groups or strata. The population is subdivided into homogeneous groups and each homogeneous group is called strata on the basis of certain common characteristics. There will be homogeneity within strata and heterogeneity between strata. That means the items within strata will be homogeneous and items in between strata will be heterogeneous. Then from each strata, items are selected by using simple random sampling or systematic sampling. Now look an example of stratified sampling. Here the population is divided on the basis of education. The highly educated peoples are included in strata 1 and the people with a basic education or literature are included in strata 2. Strata 3 consists of illiterates. Required number of samples can be selected from each strata by using simple random sampling or systematic sampling. So this is the example of stratified sampling. Now next is advantages of stratified sampling. It enhances the representativeness of the sample by giving proper consideration to all subgroups in the population. If the population is heterogeneous, stratified sampling ensures more representativeness because it considers all subgroups in the population with a heterogeneous feature. Then it gives higher statistical efficiency. It is easy to carry out this sampling method. So these are all about advantages of stratified sampling. Now look the disadvantages of stratified sampling. A prior knowledge of the composition of the population and the distribution of the population characteristics are required. So, the population must be known and a prior knowledge of the composition of the population is required. This is one of the major disadvantage. Now, look the next disadvantage. This method is very expensive in time and money. The identification of the strata might lead to the classification error. So, these are all about advantages and disadvantages of stratified sampling. Now, next method of restricted random sampling is cluster sampling. This method is used when the population elements are scattered over a wider area and a list of population is not readily available. So, cluster sampling can be used even if the list of population is not available. It consists of forming suitable clusters within the population on the basis of geographical area, buildings, degree of concentration of units, etc. So, these clusters are formulated on the basis of geographical area, buildings, degree of concentration of units, etc. But usually it is formulated on the basis of geographical area. When the clusters are selected purely on the basis of geographical area, it is called area sampling. Population within a cluster should ideally be heterogeneous and there should be homogeneity between clusters. That means there will be heterogeneity within cluster and homogeneity between clusters. That means clusters should be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Each cluster should be a small scale representation of the total population. Cluster sampling may be of three types. First one is single or one stage cluster sampling. It consists of forming suitable clusters of units and surveying all the units in the sample of cluster selectors. Here two or more clusters are selected and the data is collected from each and every elements of the clusters selected. That means the data is collected from the complete list of population of the selected clusters. Now the next one is two-stage cluster sampling. Here clusters are selected at random as the first stage and required samples may be drawn from the selected clusters by using simple random sampling or systematic method. In single or one stage cluster sampling, the data is collected from each and every item of the cluster selected. But here the data is collected only from the sample taken from the cluster selected. Then another one is multi-stage cluster sampling. It consists of three or more stages and the clusters are formulated only at a particular stage of sampling. It will be discussed later under the head multi-stage cluster sampling. For example, a survey on scheduled tribes in Kerala can be conducted by using cluster sampling. Scheduled tribes in Kerala are mainly located in 5 districts: Wayanad, Kannur, Kasaragod, Palakkad and Idukki. We can take these districts as clusters. There is homogeneity between clusters because all are tribals in each clusters. But there is heterogeneity within each clusters because each cluster consists of various tribals who are different in caste, lifestyles, habits and customs, etc. Then two clusters, that is Wayanad and Idukki, is selected and data is collected from all tribals from these clusters. It is called a one-stage cluster sampling. So, in one-stage cluster sampling, the data is collected from all tribes from selected clusters. Then two clusters, Wayanad and Idukki, is selected and data is collected from 300 tribals drawn at random. It is called a two-stage cluster sampling. So, in two-stage cluster sampling, 300 samples are selected from selected clusters and data is collected only from these samples. Okay, now we can discuss advantages of cluster sampling. It requires fewer resources. It is the first advantage. Then complete list of population is not needed in this case. It is less expensive and more quick. Now look the disadvantages of cluster sampling. Unequal size of cluster lead to bias. This is the first disadvantage. More chance of sampling error is possible. Application of its findings to another area may not be possible. So, So these are all about advantages and disadvantages of cluster sampling. Now let us compare cluster sampling and stratified sampling. In cluster sampling, clustering is done on the basis of geographical area or administrative division. That is, it is done mainly on the basis of geographical area. But in stratified sampling, stratification is done on the basis of homogeneity and heterogeneity of population. Here the classification is done on the basis of the characteristics of the population. Then population within cluster is heterogeneous and between cluster is homogeneous. But in stratified sampling, population within strata is homogeneous and between strata is heterogeneous. In cluster sampling, complete list of population is not needed. Sampling frame needed for the cluster only. But here, sampling frame is needed for the entire population. Then categories are naturally occurring pre-existing groups. That means the clusters are naturally occurring pre-existing groups. But in the case of stratified sampling, the strata or the categories are imposed by the researchers. It is created by a researcher. Then classification variables are geographical area, buildings, etc. in the case of cluster sampling. But in the case of stratified sampling, classification variables may be age, gender, income, etc. Now the third method of random sampling is systematic sampling or fixed interval method. It is also known as quasi-random sampling method. Once again, systematic sampling method, fixed interval method or quasi-random sampling method. So this method can be applied only when the complete list of population is available. So for systematic sampling, complete list of population is required. Under this method, the items of the population is selected by using an interval of magnitude k. So an interval of magnitude k is to be determined first. Then it consists of taking every kth item in the population after a random start with an item from 1 to k. So a random number is to be selected first from the population and we have to start from this random number. Then every kth item in the population is selected. So here k is equal to population size divided by size of the sample. As the interval between the sample unit is fixed, this method is also known as fixed interval method. So for example, a sample of 10 students is to be taken from a list of 50 students by using systematic sampling. So the roll number of 50 students are written on a piece of paper. We have to select 10 students from this 50 students by using systematic sampling. So first of all, we have to calculate the value of k. So I already told you that k is equal to population size divided by size of the sample. Here the population size is 50 and the size of the sample is 10. So k is equal to 50 divided by 10, which is equal to 5. Then select a number at random between 1 and 5 using lottery method or other. Suppose the selected number is 4, then fourth item is to be selected first. Suppose the selected number between 1 and 5 is 4, then the fourth item is to be selected first as sample. Then the student numbered 9, that means 4 plus 5. The 9 is to be selected next. Then 14 is to be selected next. Then 19 is to be selected next. Then 24, 29, 34, 39, 44 and 49 is to be selected. So this is the method of selecting sample by using systematic sampling. Now we can discuss advantages of systematic sampling. It is one of the simple and easy method. It is easier to check whether every kth item has been included in the sample. Sample is spread evenly over the population. Systematic sampling gives a better representative sample. So these are all about advantages. Now look the disadvantages. Complete list of population is needed in the case of systematic sampling. This method ignores all elements between two kth items selected. Except the first item, other selected items are not chosen at a random. Now the next method of random sampling is multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling design is adopted for large-scale sampling surveys. Under this method, sample is prepared by stages. Here the sample is collected by stages. The population is divided into a number of large sampling units, each of which is divided into smaller units and so on. It uses variety of random sampling methods together. Different random sampling methods are used to select sampling units in each stage. Data is collected only in the last stage. For example, suppose we want to take a sample of 4,500 households from Kerala. At the first stage, the state may be divided into a number of districts and a few districts may be selected at random. So, the state of Kerala may be divided into number of districts in the first stage and a few districts, 2 or more districts may be selected at random. At the second stage, each selected districts may be divided into corporations, municipalities and panchayats, and one or more corporation, municipality and panchayat is selected by using simple random sampling. At the third stage, 4,500 households are selected from these corporations, municipalities and panchayat at random. Now it is the pictorial representation of the above said example. In the first stage, the state of Kerala is divided into various districts. So here 3 districts are selected at a random. The selected districts are Thiruvananthapuram district, Ernakulam district and Wayanad district. Then each of districts are classified into corporations, municipality and panchayats in the second stage. Then one corporation, one municipality and one panchayat is selected from each district. Then 1,500 households are selected from these districts. That means 500 households from corporation, 500 from municipality and 500 from panchayat. And in a total, 4,500 households are selected from Kerala by using multi-stage sampling. Now the last method of random sampling is random route sampling. This method is used in market research surveys. It is mainly for sampling households, shops, garages and other premises in urban area. Address is selected at random from sampling frame as a starting point. So here the researchers select addresses as the first stage. Then interviewer then gives instructions to identify further addresses by taking alternative left and right hand turns at road junctions and calling at every nth address. So after collecting addresses, interviewer then give instruction to identify further addresses by taking alternative left and right hand turns at road junctions and calling at every nth address. So this is a procedure of random route sampling. Now we can discuss the merits and limitation of this method. The main merits of this methods are it may be saving in time, bias may be reduced. The main limitations are sample is not representative, open to abuse by interviewer. Now let me summarize today's class. Sampling methods may be classified into probability or random sampling and non-probability or non-random sampling. Probability sampling is further divided into unrestricted sampling and restricted sampling. Unrestricted sampling includes lottery method and random number tables. Restricted random sampling includes stratified sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling, systematic sampling, random route sampling. Okay, and now look the questions in this area. What is probability sampling? What is lottery method? What is random number method? What is stratified sampling? What is cluster sampling? What is multi-stage sampling? What is systematic sampling? And what is random route sampling? So students, hope you get an idea about what is probability sampling and what are the types of probability sampling. Okay, and now we can wind up today's session. So see you in the next class. Till then, bye. Take care.